A comprehensive 200-hour yoga teacher training covers far more than yoga poses. Here's what you should expect. How to build a class from principles. This is the big one. A great training doesn't hand you sequences to memorize. It teaches you how to think about sequencing. You learn why certain poses go together, how to highlight a featured pose or movement, how to create a class that has an arc, a beginning, a middle, and an end that feels complete. Think of it like the difference between following a recipe and learning how to cook. I teach a framework for this that I call 642, a way of thinking about class structure that works for any style, any level, any length of class. Once you understand the principles, you can build a class for any room. How to cue with precision. Your language matters far more than you think. You're not saying, get into downward dog. You're learning to say something like, press your hands down, lift your sitting bones, draw your front ribs in. Specific, useful, clear. Good cueing is a skill and it takes practice. It's one of the things that separates a confident teacher from a nervous one. Anatomy that actually helps you teach, not a medical school anatomy course. Practical applied anatomy, the kind that helps you understand why a student can't straighten their arms in downward dog, or why someone's knees track the way they do in a squat. Enough to teach safely and intelligently without pretending to be a physical therapist. Philosophy and history, the roots of the practice, not just pose names in Sanskrit, but the ideas behind the practice. Why we do what we do, where this tradition comes from, and how to carry that forward with respect and integrity. Classroom management, how to set up a room, how to use music or not use music, how to handle student needs and behavior, how to read the energy of a class and adjust on the fly. This is the stuff that makes teaching feel natural instead of terrifying. Practice teaching with feedback. The most important part, you will stand in front of other humans, lead a class, and receive feedback from experienced teachers. This is where the learning gets real. It's also where most of the growth happens. Business and marketing. Most 200-hour trainings barely touch this. They guide you on how to teach a class, but not on how to find students, negotiate with studios, build an online presence, or price your services. Many programs include a module on the business side, but it's usually a few hours at most. This is important to know going in. The teaching skills and the business skills are separate educations. Advanced specializations. Now, a 200-hour training is a foundation. It's not going to make you an expert in prenatal yoga, trauma-informed yoga, yoga therapy, or sports-specific applications. Those come later through additional training, mentorship, and experience. How to handle every situation. Now, you won't graduate knowing what to do when a student cries in Shavasana, or when someone has a medical condition you've never heard of, or when the sound system breaks 5 minutes before class. Those things come from experience. But what a good training gives you is the framework to navigate them thoughtfully. When you're comparing programs, look for these things. Is the curriculum organized around principles and frameworks, or is it a list of poses to memorize? Is practice teaching built in with mentored feedback, not just peer review? Does the program acknowledge what it doesn't cover, or does it promise you'll be fully prepared for everything? The programs that are honest about their scope tend to be the ones that do the best job within that scope. What are you most curious about learning in a yoga teacher training? And is there anything you're worried won't be covered? Drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. If you want a taste of what learning to teach feels like, grab my free mini course, Find Your Teaching Voice. It covers some of the core principles I just described, and it gives you a real sense of what this work involves. Link in the description. If you are still deciding whether yoga teacher training is worth the investment, I have a video that covers the honest answer. I'll link it right here. Please subscribe if this is helpful. I'll see you in the next one.